Now at 9, new details about an LAPD officer accused of making secret audio recordings of his coworkers.
But tonight, the concerning nature of what was on those recordings is being revealed. And CBS LA assignment editor Mike Rogers is at the desk. Mike, you took a trip to the courthouse today, and you have a better idea of how this all played out.
Yeah, you know, Rudabeh and Pat, it's very interesting here. So yeah, I went down to the courthouse today, pulled the criminal complaint. Turns out there were 122 files of these audio recordings that were involved in this alleged scandal. Now, here's the thing though. The officer, the one that's being charged, is the one that provided them both to the LAPD's Internal Affairs Bureau as well as the Office of Inspector General. Now, according to the criminal filing here, the Office of Inspector General received what was then supposed to be an anonymous complaint along with these 122 files on a USB drive. They then turned it back over to the LAPD, who discovered it was Officer Daniel Flores that made the recordings. I want to show you some information about the officer who is now being charged with this. He was accused of those secret recordings, charged with 16 felonies, faces 13 years in prison. Now, through a civil lawsuit that is also being filed by the officer, we got a little bit of the transcripts of what was in these audio recordings, and I can tell you they are so egregious that we can't even tell them to you on TV, but I can tell you in the recordings, at least what's according to court files, is the co-workers in this recruitment and employment division of the LAPD talks a lot about sexist remarks against women, racist remarks against several different races, homophobic comments, as well as other things about women and about how the department is run and supervisors in the department. And again, the quotes that are in these court documents that we have reviewed, it's just too much to even put on TV or read them to you verbatim. They are so inappropriate. I do want to show you the statement here from the attorney, Alan Jackson, that is representing these officers, this officer rather, saying Daniel Flores did not leak this material. He did not sell it, post it, or hand it to a reporter. He walked into Internal Affairs and gave it to his own department in an official complaint because he believed the department would do something about it. The department's answer was to investigate him. The district attorney's answer is to prosecute him. Mr. Jackson goes on to say, so let us be direct about what his charging decision actually accomplishes. It tells every officer in this department and every officer in this county that if you document bigotry inside the LAPD, you will be the one who ends up in a courtroom. It tells them the safe move is to hear the slurs, say nothing, and go home. Mr. Jackson's comments go on to talk about how the law specifically carves out an exception for officers who believe they are acting in an official capacity. Mr. Jackson believes that's what Officer Flores was doing in this case. And tonight, we have no idea what happened to the officers that were making these comments on those recordings. State law prohibits the LAPD from disclosing disciplinary actions against officers in these circumstances. Guys.
Thank you, Mike.
Shalom. First, I'll start by giving all glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. The blondness of teachers, elders, and apostles of great millstone, likewise brothers will know the truth. Faithfully, fearlessly feeding the sheep and do brothers and sisters. Tony and Shalom. Today's lesson is titled, The Witness Becomes the Criminal. Now, you saw in that clip, here you have a man who appears to be punished more severely for exposing corruption than those accused of spreading wickedness. And that tells you something about the rulers of this place, Great Babylon, America. Okay, now, and excuse the the thunderstorm in the background right there. That could also be a sign of judgment to come to this place. But you can see in that video clip, you had that LAPD cop. He recorded over a period of time. These other police officers, making racial remarks and anti-sodomite remarks, which we don't care about that, but mainly the fact that a city, that is historically known for subduing, oppressing, murdering, so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans and Hispanics, to have this going on and what is supposed to be the law enforcement, that is very deeply concerning. But rather than getting to the root of the issues and punishing those that spewing this type of behavior, so to speak, when nobody's looking, the public isn't looking, they're going after the witness. Henceforth, we can look at how they're going to come after us, who are the witness of how Ba'ashem Yahushai, preaching the gospel, warning our people, warning the rest of the world, and also warning Esau of his impending judgment from the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. But let's start off with our first scripture. This is the book of Proverbs 29:12. It reads, if a ruler hearkens to lies, all his servants are wicked. And we know that these Edomites, the so-called white man, he cannot lie. He cannot stop lying. Okay, he's came out of the womb, so to speak, lying. Okay, everything they do is evil. Okay, they're unfair. They're unjust. Okay, basically they don't follow their own rules. Okay, that they set. They're hypocrites. Okay, and it's being revealed. Okay, that's what our job is. Our job is to reveal, okay, the wicked, okay, on this earth, which is Esau the Edomite, the so-called white man. Okay, now you have the corrupt rulers, they hear lies. The wicked servants, they multiply, and truth becomes offensive. Okay, and that's what you're seeing right now. Truth is becoming offensive. Okay, and the witness starts to become the problem. Think about it when we go back to the C-19 Jabaroni. Okay, when it was trying to convince people to take that, and with many of the people who were witness to what has happened to people when they take this, expose that truth. Okay, they were incarcerated, they lost a license. Okay, for us, telling the children of Israel, okay, so-called blacks, Native Americans, Latinos, and Hispanic not to take it. Okay, we lost, access to our channels on YouTube. They canceled, many of the brothers' channels. Okay, but did it stop anything? Did it stop us? No. Okay, we continue on. Okay, let's go take a look at this clip here. I want you to take a look at this clip. Okay, and listen to this very carefully.
And for more than 2 years, KCRA3 Investigates has been looking into just who is stopped by law enforcement, most often in California.
And this morning we have some new details from the state board that's been tracking all of this. Let's get to KCRA3 Investigates' Brandy Cummings, who's been covering this story from the very start and breaks down the findings of that new report.
Hey guys, good morning. The 2026 Racial and Identity Profiling Act, or RIPA report, shows an increase in the number of stops. Now, this is the 9th annual RIPA report. The board analyzed 13,000 complaints and more than 5.1 million police and pedestrian stops conducted in 2024 from nearly all of the law enforcement agencies in California. Now, for some perspective, last year's report shows relative to the population, black individuals were pulled over 126% more often. This year's data shows an increase, with black individuals pulled over 128% more often. The data shows overall black and Native American individuals had more interactions and more actions taken by officers per average stop than other racial and ethnic groups. Additionally, according to the report, 2024 stop data showed notable disparities of individuals who are perceived as unhoused. In particular, people perceived as unhoused were stopped more than any other demographic group, and officers also reported taking more actions during those stops, including use of force.
And as you saw in that clip, okay, that same particular place there, Los Angeles, okay, which has a pattern of stereotyping, okay, racial profiling, okay, and this is not going to stop. We see what happened during the ICE raids, okay. All those you have a city that has tens of millions of people in it from all over the world that are here illegally, okay, and yet still they targeted who? They targeted the so-called Latino and Hispanics, okay, and that's still going on right now, okay. And this is not going to stop now. They said that they're looking at people who look like they don't have someplace to live, and they tend to stop those type of people. Well, who are the faces of the people that tend not to have someplace to live, or who's going to be socioeconomically, okay, downtrodden? That's going to be the so-called blacks, okay, your Latinos, Hispanics, and your Native Americans. You see, everything is set up in this society that you will lose. You will lose at no matter what, okay, because the whole place is controlled by the wicked. In fact, let's go into Revelation 11, and start verse 3 reads, "And I will give power unto my two witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth. These are the two olive trees and the two candlesticks standing before the power of the earth," okay, standing before, okay, who the world is going to call God, okay, and who are those two witnesses? You have the northern kingdom tribes, and you have the southern kingdom tribes, which are the so-called dark-skinned Negroes, and the northern kingdom tribes, made of Native Americans, Latinos, and Hispanics, okay, or light brown brothers and sisters, okay. But what you have is representation from, okay, both kingdoms that are right now out in the highway and the byway and on this unicorn, prophesying what? Okay, we are a witness, okay, of Esau's, okay, wickedness. Okay, we've lived through it, we're living through it, okay, and we're going to live through, you know, when this devil really get loose on this earth, okay, which these other tribes, okay, are going to feel exactly what wickedness is all about, okay. But we warn Esau of his judgment, okay. The Lord Yahweh Shemashah is going to destroy his kingdom. He's going to go into 1,000 years of hardcore, brutal slavery, okay. We warn the rest of the tribes on this earth that this man that you see persecuting us right now is also going to persecute you, okay. And we are witness to that, okay. The nuclear bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. I mean, look across the maps on a world map, and you can see where everywhere the so-called white man set his footprint, okay, meaning we're talking about Great Babylon, America, you know, erect their flag in their embassy. They have just destroyed everything. Everywhere this white man goes, he destroys, because he himself is death, okay, death. The so-called white man is death. Now, unlike the witness of this world, you know, recording and, you know, trying to get some type of justice or whatever case like that, okay, we're the witness of the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, okay, and we stand, okay, before the power on this earth, okay, bringing out this truth, okay. The so-called white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. The people that you call white people, they're evil. You cannot trust them. They're not your friend, okay. They are the evil creation, okay. And then they are also the base of people. The so-called white man is not the standard on this earth. He just happens to be given everything. The Lord Yahweh Shemashah gave him everything, including us, to go build his empire. And did he give us any type of credit for it? No. Instead of a handshake, you know, 40 acre and a horse, okay, what we got? We getting the sword to our throats. That's what we're getting, okay. But see, as much as Esau wants to kill the witness right now, because believe it or not, you know, you people don't think that they're scared, but they are very afraid, okay. The elites are very afraid because what they see, mere mortal man, okay, stand up boldly, okay, exposing them with scriptures. We don't have any weapons. This is not a war of you know, knives and guns, okay. This is spiritual warfare, and they know it, and they know they can't do a damn thing about it to us. In fact, let's go into the book of Psalms 37 and start verse 27. It reads, "Depart from evil," because this is our job. Our job is always what? We warn the children of Israel to do what? Depart from evil and do good and dwell forevermore. For the Lord Yahweh Shemashah loveth judgment and forsaketh not his saints. They are preserved forever. But the seed of the wicked shall be cut off. Esau is going to be cut off. The so-called white people are going to be cut off. And I know you're thinking to yourself, you know, I work with these white people. They're nice. If you think so, great. We tell you, drink the coffee with them. If they buy you lunch, take it. But keep away from them. Okay? They are wicked and they're going to be destroyed. Continuing on, it says, the righteous shall inherit the land and dwell therein forever. Because we're going to inherit the kingdom of heaven, which is basically this whole entire earth. Of course, our capital is going to be, you know, the kingdom of Israel, okay, or the future is going to be Israel, okay. But, you know, the whole earth is going to be ours. It's our inheritance, okay, and you people are going to be slaves to us. Continuing, it says, the mouth of the righteous speaketh wisdom, and his tongue talketh of judgment. Every lesson we put out, what do we always talk about? Jakes, 2/3 Jakes getting put to death by the sword, famine, you know, beasts of the field, okay, or the lake of fire, which is going to be the term of nuclear destruction of Great Babylon, America. But at the forefront, we always talk about what? Okay, Esau, the so-called white man, you're going to go into slavery, okay? And that's every lesson I put out. I like to remind you, you Edomites, you crackers, you so-called white people, you're going to go into hardcore, brutal slavery, okay? So enjoy your miserable lives as it is right now. You think you're miserable right now? You wait. But that's what we talk about. That's the judgment from the Lord, Yahweh Shemashah. And if you're asking the question, is that what you want? Absolutely. Yes. I wouldn't be recording it every day if I didn't want that. It says the law of his power is in his heart. None of his steps shall slide. The wicked watcheth the righteous. They're watching us. They know our IP address. They know where we live, everything. They know our job history, credit score, everything. They know all of us, okay? and seeketh to slay him. They want to slay us, but they can't. The Lord, Yahweh Shema Shai, will not leave him in his hands, nor condemn him when he is judged. See that? So that's all they can do is watch. That's all they can do. They can't do a damn thing, okay? Let's go into Isaiah 59:19. However, how this man is, he will try. He will try, and here's what's going to happen. So shall they fear the name of the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shai, from the west, and its glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shai, shall lift up a standard against him. We don't know what that standard is, but as you know, the elder apostles and the brothers like to put out there, we're going to get spiritual powers, the ability to heal and defend, okay, our women and children, and the men that follow that believe in Yahweh Shai, okay, and follow this ministry, okay. Other than that, the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai is going to have his angels, them defending us. So we're not worried about you, Esau. Y'all going to be so busy killing each other. You Edomites, you crackers going to be so busy killing each other, you're never going to touch the elect. And that's just the way it is, okay? It's already been written. I just read it to you. Lord, with the elect was edified. Let the close by giving all great honor to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai Ba'ashim Rakakadash. Shalom.